So I did a natural experiment. I took exact same questions. I randomly created from the same multiple choice question, one question where the answer is true using the correct answer, and two questions where the answer was false using the best two distractors. Half of the students were asked the regular answer, regular grading, true or false. Half of the students were asked to provide their confidence. So if you're fully confident with your answer, whether you're delusional or not, which means you think you know but you don't, you are not as likely to suffer from cognitive syndrome. And when we did this on questions where students were fully confident of their answer, when it was true, they got about 85% right. When it was false, about 82%. So there's about 3%. When they were not fully certain, but they had some confidence in it. When it was true, they did about 75%. When it was false, 40%. And this was not even a complicated class. It was basic CIS. Almost anything is definitional stuff. So bottom falls out of it. So the difference between the two is called the diffs and diffs, is a measure of acquiescence bias. It's basically partial knowledge. Okay, you don't know enough, but that partial knowledge actually kills you. Knowing just a little is actually very unhealthy for you. We've seen something similar. I haven't published that one yet, but I will soon. I did a similar experiment. I took a 5-choice question. I got rid of two obviously wrong stuff. I made one question that was binary choice, correct answer on the strong false answer, and the other was triple choice. Students randomly were asked either binary or triple choice version. Again, randomly they got regular or extra crispy version of grading. And when they were fully confident, there was almost no difference in their performance, whether it was binary or 3-choice. When they were not, even after correcting for, you're more likely to guess the right answer in binary compared to triple. Even after correcting for that difference, there was about a 20-point drop on the 3-point. You basically have a weaker alternative. It confuses them. Why? Because they have partial knowledge. I'm interpreting not being confident as having partial knowledge. So either you learn something right or don't learn. Because if you don't learn it, then you don't know anyway. But if you learn it, sometimes you think you know, but you only know it partially. You're going to actually kill yourself on the foot. So pay attention to details. Okay, this is another definition. I'll let you guys read it. But let's think about this anyway. Shareholders' equity, also known as total equity, is total assets minus total liabilities. Okay, let's see. Net fixed assets minus total liabilities. Do you think that's correct? If not, why not? Because total assets are net fixed assets plus current assets. So the first one cannot be correct because it doesn't include current assets. Net working capital plus total assets, no. Fixed assets minus long-term debt plus net working capital. Now let's think about that one. Net fixed assets plus long-term debt minus net working capital. Now, total liabilities is equal to long-term debt plus current liabilities. Net working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. So if you add them up, basically net fixed assets, let me see. No, I'm sorry, this should be minus plus. Minus long-term debt plus current assets minus current liabilities. So let's group it, NFA plus current assets you recognize that net fixed assets plus current assets is total assets. Long-term debt plus current liabilities is total liabilities. So that answer is indeed correct. And all I need to do is write down the definitions of these things and follow the implications. That's what mathematics is all about. It doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, I don't know if I talked about it in this class. Did I show you guys how Euclid came up with the theorem that said square root of 2 is not a rational number? It cannot be written as a ratio of two integers. He basically followed consequences of things. He said, let's suppose it can be. And it showed that any ratio that is equal to square root of 2 has to be reducible infinitely, which is impossible. Hence, you cannot write it that way. You know, for him, that was a great achievement. This happened 2,300 years ago. He actually invented geometry, or geometry of flat spaces. We call it Euclidean geometry now. Geometry of curved spaces, that's the realm of relativity theory, general relativity. That was invented by a German guy named Riemann. Unfortunately, he died at the age of 40 from tuberculosis. Gauss himself said he was the best student he ever had. You know, Gauss was one of the giants of 18th century. So without Riemann, we didn't have general relativity, mathematics of general relativity. All right. Now, you should always think, I like these questions. I know you guys hate it, because you need to think about all 5 of them. Which one of the following statements is correct? Book value is equal to initial cost minus depreciation to date. That is actually correct. That is the definition of book value of an asset. But let's also think about why the others are not incorrect. The market value of an asset is not the replacement value of an asset. So I have a car, okay? I bought it at $30,000. It's 5 years old. To replace that, I need to spend, assuming model didn't change, $30,000, right? But that's not the market value. The market value is the value you can get in the market. A 5-year-old car probably is worth less than $10,000, depending upon the car. You know, if it's an American car, much less. If it's a Japanese car, more. Don't ask me why. That's the market. For a while, the used car market can do weird stuff. spring of 2022. If you wanted a used car with 5,000 miles on it, you had to pay more than you would pay same car brand new. Because brand new car, you had to wait for 3 months. That's exactly what I did. I ordered my Subaru. I said, when it comes in, I'll trade my other car. I had a Chevy Traverse with 97,000 miles on it, 2018. I paid, I think about 28 grand, about a year and a half before that, and 20,000 miles before that. I traded that in for 25.5. I put 1,500 out of my pocket. I got a brand new Subaru 2022 Crosstrek. Well, I waited 4 months for the car. Who cares? But if I wanted to buy a Crosstrek with 5,000 miles on it, I probably would have paid over 30. Easy. Book value is greater than the depreciated cost or the current market value. Greater of the, no. Book value is as defined. Market value is the amount of cash owner hopes to receive. There is, nothing about hope. It's an objective number. Book value is greater of the initial cost or the current market value. No, that's not the case either. Only in inventory, book value of inventory is lesser of cost and market value. It may have cost you $300 to produce that computer, but it's in your inventory, so it's brand new. You haven't sold it, but if the market is 200, that inventory is worth 200, not 300. And typically the cost of inventory is affected quite a bit by inventory methods. That's why they kind of use that. Net working capital is defined as current assets minus current liabilities.